Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh yeah, here we go, people! Nashville, episode 9, season 4, called Three's a Crowd, and there were many Three's a Crowds in this episode tonight. So we are going to dig right in. We love keeping up with y'all on Twitter. You have so many great things to say. So you can follow me at Southern_Wit, and we'll keep the conversation going.
You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Keetin Marchi. I keep it easy.
Hey everyone, you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And we're missing JJ and Violet tonight. Not feeling so well. There's some stuff going on. So anyways, we will be they'll be back next week, most of them. I unfortunately will not, which is very sad. Oh, it looks like our guest is calling in, Cynthia McWilliams, who plays Gabriella. Hi, Cynthia. Are you on the phone?
Hey, I am. How are you?
We're so excited to chat with you.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So we'll just jump right in. We want to hear about the audition process for your role.
Oh, wow.
We're ready to hear that.
Just made me flash back for a second. I'm like, oh, I didn't even, I have to go back in memory there. I mean, it was a pretty typical audition process. They have a casting office here in Los Angeles. And I went in and read for, first, Mark Whitman, who is one of the office workers there, and then he's a casting associate, and then I read for Jenny Baccarat, and we put it on tape, and they brought me back in, and it was kind of, just a typical process. Go in, go back in one more time.
Exactly.
And they sent that tape on to Nashville, so I hadn't actually met any of, the showrunners or creators or even Luke himself until I got on set in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
So that all happened on the magic of digital everything now.
Wow.
So there was no chemistry read, no nothing with Luke?
No, nothing, which, is always kind of, scary because you don't know what it's going to be like until you get there. But on day one, we met each other. We actually met each other in a van ride to set. So literally, that was, how we met. And we, immediately, he was just very friendly and, started, apparently he had done some research on me before I ever got there. And he was like, so, you went to DePaul, huh? And he asked me all about college and Chicago. And he actually knew some of my agents from my old agency in Chicago. And it was just fun. We just had a good time.
He
kind
seems
of catching up like old friends, even though that was our first time meeting.
Yeah, he seems like a solid dude, someone who would be like that. That's pretty awesome that it was easy enough just to get along like that.
Yeah, very. We had a nice chat all the way there, and then as soon as we got to set, we got to working. And I think immediately, because, I think every actor feels like once you get to working, you immediately kind of know, okay, is this person here to play, or are they here to, get some work in? And I think we both had really similar work ethics, and we recognized that about one another very quickly. So we got along even more because, we both just really fell into a groove really, really quickly.
So how much about Gabriella did you know after, going into the audition process, and then once you got the role, going into playing her? Did you have a good idea about what her arc was going to be, about her relationship with Luke, or what can you tell us about that?
Not even a little bit. I tell you.
They keep you working there, huh?
Not a dang thing. All I knew was, the specs of who she was, that she was an image consultant from New York, and that she was, the one thing that I really knew and that they gave us to go with was just the idea that she was a character that was very specifically from outside of Nashville. Because, the show, the world is so very inclusive. It's just this little microcosm. We're looking at, yes, the whole industry, but, these people in this world, they're all very interconnected, everybody on the show. And so the one thing I did know was that this character was going to very much be an outside influence in Luke's life and someone from another world. And so I think that gave me the freedom and the comfort to be able to come in and just be that character and not feel the need to kind of, blend into the landscape of the show at all, and to really bring all of, my uniqueness and my city girl to it. And I think that ended up working out in my favor.
It totally did. And part of the storyline, too, which I think we've talked a lot about on the show, is how you were kind of a little hard to get. Like, I don't mix business with pleasure kind of thing. Was it hard to kind of to switch that on then? Because you're kind of, I don't know, was it like all a game in Gabriella's character, it seemed?
Yeah, and again, that's what's always so funny is I didn't know it either. So I would be reading it like, wait a minute, what is going on with this girl?
What is up with her?
On episode 3, it's like, yeah, I don't mix business with pleasure. And then I get the next episode, and I'm like, wait a minute. So she's pulling him in the bedroom? What's going on?
Well, that was fun.
I'm just as shocked about that, as the viewing audience is. And so I think, it's always fun to get surprised by your own character and then have to figure out, okay, well, then how am I going to play this moment? And I think, like any woman, a lot of times we have big ideas about how strong we're going to be, and then we get in front of a nice, charming man who's handsome and flirting, and before you know it, we lose all sight of ourselves.
It's that accent, I guess, huh? That's amazing.
Were you a fan of the Nashville show before you even got involved? Were you like well aware of the show, and are you a fan of country music?
I absolutely was. It was in its first season in particular, I was a huge fan. Like, watched every single episode, never missed it, watched it real time. In the second season, I was still pretty hardcore, but, every now and again would miss one. By the third season, I was still into it, but I had to start DVRing a little bit because I was working on other shows and, just wasn't able to always be home at the time that the show would air. But I still definitely kept up with everything, and, I just really like the show. I think, it's like a lot of, ABC is really great at doing, that primetime soap opera where they really just give you all that good drama, but somehow it doesn't feel cheesy. I mean, I just really get pulled into all these characters. I think they're really well drawn, and I think no matter if you are in the music business or if you know a lot about it, it's like this isn't really about music business. That's the landscape that we're telling a story, but it's really just about relationships.
Totally.
And, friendships and love and I mean, just a lot of hard-hidden issues, man. And I just really think they do a great job of telling all those stories, especially since we have to get like 15 people's stories in every week.
And speaking about relationships, I mean, this episode in particular really kind of explored Luke and Colt's relationship. And you were kind of like the third
three's
wheel.
a crowd there, as the title would be.
What is it like working with those two, and kind of what is your opinion on that storyline and that particular relationship?
Yeah, that is awkward, isn't it? Those two are just going through it. They're having a hard time. I was at that breakfast table like, okay, this is awkward.
They played it really well.
But I like it. I like that I just like all the different relationships they explore. Same thing with, I think, Rayna and Maddie. They're having a whole situation right now, where they're kind of starting to get into those years where she's, rebelling and, acting out. And I think it's interesting to see a father and son dealing with those issues versus a mother and a daughter. It's also interesting because Rayna is always trying to be this really strong moral compass, and then you've got Luke who's doing something that's kind of questionably immoral. And, we're sort of wondering, is he being a good dad, or is he doing what's right? Is it what's best for the business, or is it what's best for his son? Whose interest is he really serving right now? And that he's going to have to learn that lesson. It's a really rare, thing that happens as kids grow up, that sometimes the kids end up kind of getting it a little bit more than the parents. And I think that's what we're looking at right now in this relationship, is that Colt is really, just being a little more mature than his dad, and that he can call him on a little bit of his BS and say, yeah, you're not really maybe doing the best or the right thing. You're lying and you're keeping secrets, and I don't know that that's right, and I don't know that I can respect you as an adult figure. And I think that's kind of a cool moment for Colt. He's the teens on the show, it's always hard, the kids. The kids on any show, it's like, it's nice when we see them start to assert themselves as, like, real people in the world. And I think this has been a really cool arc for him to just grow up, both in his relationship with his girlfriend, but also in his relationship to his father.
And he's a great actor. That kid, he is just like impressed me so much.
And he totally does not like Gabriella. So, what can you tell us about where that storyline's going to go? Because at this point, it seems like Luke does not want to do the Ford business right now, and it seems like Gabriella's kind of in a tough spot. Do you have any hints for where your storyline might go there?
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I think you're on it there, is that there's just a lot of forces pulling him in some different directions. But Gabriella is a focused lady, and she is all about the business. And even though I think she's willing or excited about maybe entertaining whatever this new relationship is, her primary focus has always been business. And I don't know, that might pose a problem because Luke is justifiably so. He's pulled in a lot of directions right now. So all I can say is that he's kind of, he's got other things on his mind, but Gabriella usually only has one thing on her mind, and that is business.
Right. Well, I know you've been on a bunch of other TV sets, Real Husbands of Hollywood and other shows as well. What can you say that stands out about being on the Nashville set?
I think I definitely, like, beyond the doubt, this is such a unique set in that the show is really influenced by its environment. It is shot in Nashville. It's not shot like on a soundstage out here in LA, which makes it really different because it's influenced by the music scene there. And I think the music scene is also affected by the show Nashville. The people in the city, in the town, they're just so excited about the show. And I think the actors who, play on the show, they're out in the streets, hanging out and doing things on Tuesdays and Thursdays, going to live open mics. And, and there's really a highway, there's a record company, in Nashville on the streets right next to a hotel and across the street from the subway, like it's in the city. And it's really just kind of cool to see how these two world, the TV show world and the real music city Nashville, how they just feed off one another. It's really very unique. And I think that definitely was the thing that stood out to me about being on this set, is that there's kind of no difference between being on the set and being just in the music city itself.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, for your character, Gabriella, and she's surrounded by so many country artists and musicians in the show, do you think we will ever see you or your character, get on the mic and sing something?
Oh, absolutely not. That would be the quickest way to get that show canceled. Nobody wants to see that.
Hey,
He would.
Well, most people we've had come in here from the show, like, a part of their audition process was singing at one point, but I feel like you're one of the first characters that we've talked to that you have you don't have to worry about that at all.
You play
exactly.
a different
That's what I
role.
was saying about when I was given the freedom of saying, okay, this person is not, she's from outside of Nashville, she's completely unrelated to the music end of the business. I knew right then, okay, good, this is going to be safe. That means no one's ever going to ask me to sing. Thank goodness.
I love it. That is hilarious. Well, we really appreciate...
There's plenty of talented people out there that are doing that job for me very, very, very well. That show is full of amazing singers, amazing voices,
so
and great
true.
performers, and just really, really fantastic. That's been one of my favorite things about working on the show, too, is just I get to be on set and see some of these really awesome performance scenes get recorded, and they're just so much fun, and it's so impressive to see how these actors are able to not only, learn their lines and do the job of what any normal actor would be doing on set, but then to take on, learning a new song and rehearsing it with the musicians and getting up there and putting on a real deal, like concert level performance, every week. Like, it's really, really impressive.
Wow.
Do they do those live usually, or is there a track? Because I can't imagine them doing that many takes singing.
Oh my God, they are. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Yeah, like that. I remember in particular the episode when Juliette was singing at her album launch party. And I mean, that was like in the concert arena with the lights and the fog and the extras standing up. And I mean, that's another thing, is you're dealing with hundreds of extras.
Right.
You can't keep them there all day. And you're trying to get every possible good shot out of every single frame. And so she's got to keep giving, 100% level performance. For take after take after take after take, because we got to get it from the wide shot. We got to get it with a close up of her. We got to get the crowd's reaction to her. We got to get the band members in the back. We got to get the backup singers. You know, everybody needs to be caught. And at no point can she just go, oh, well, on this take, I'm just going to dial it in.
Right.
She's got to give it. She's got to bring it every single time. And, man, she does. All of them. They just do such a great job.
I got to ask you a question for JJ, who is sick tonight and unfortunately couldn't make it. But we were such Jeff Fordham fans. We loved to hate him. We loved to love him. And you had a lot of really fun scenes with him, kind of going back and forth early on before we lost him.
Yeah.
What was it like on set with Oliver Hudson? Do you have any funny stories? Because I know him and kind of Luke, they kind of have a major bromance going on. And is Luke doing okay?
They have a major bromance. It's pretty intense, those two. I mean, yeah. I think, honestly, there was it was a sad day. Like, the day, because we all knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I mean, I've never seen, like, two grown men be so just, I mean, they were, like, weepy. They were tearful about the moment, honestly, that they knew, okay, this is our last show together. Of course, they're still friends, and they're still going to hang out and see one another. And his other show now, Scream Queens, that's not even filmed that far away. He's in Louisiana, so they can still hang out.
That's true. There you go. There's some.
But yes, that bromance is definitely it's verging on weird.
Yeah, it's like, as a lady in Luke's life, how do you even get in there?
That's hilarious.
Exactly. I mean, seriously, it's like, yeah, thank goodness that this is all for play, because if it was serious, I'd be jealous.
That is amazing. It sounds like it's a
But
blast.
he's fantastic. Oliver Hudson is really, really fantastic. He was actually one of the first people, outside of Luke, that I had met on set that, I just got a chance to kind of sit down and hang out and talk with. And, I mean, yeah, just super down-to-earth, really funny, just a goofy guy, constantly practical joking, and just a real, very, very laid-back, very, very down-to-earth, just a super, super cool dude. I really, really enjoyed him, and I was sad to see him go, too.
Yeah.
I hadn't had the opportunity to get as, close and linked to him and I regretted that. I regretted that, we didn't get to spend as much time with him. But we did have some good scenes together, didn't we? I thought we had a good chance to do a little bit of something at least.
You did.
Yeah.
And he was a great,
well, that's one of the reasons I was so sad he died, is because you guys, your relationship was just gonna start going head to head, because you had chosen him, so I was excited for that.
Fun being able to go tit for tat and just kind of mess with each other. I thought it was gonna be fun to do that and to just kind of keep getting on one another's nerves and pushing each other's buttons and seeing who was going to be competing for Luke's affections.
Totally.
Well, maybe it's a good thing he died, because you would have had a struggle there.
Well, Cynthia, we really appreciate you calling in. We know that the fans love hearing from the people that are on the set in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Where can fans keep up with you, and what's next and going on next with you?
I am available on Instagram and Twitter and all that nonsense. It's all the same. It's at Sin City Forever, CYNCITYFOREVER. And my website is just my name, CynthiaMcWilliams.com. And I am going to, like you said, I'll be back on Real Husbands of Hollywood for season 4. We had a mid-season break, but we'll come back in the winter and finish up that season. I am getting ready to start shooting a pilot in the winter as well.
Yeah.
Or winter, spring, I guess. I'm not really sure. So I can't really talk about that because, we never know pilots.
Right.
I did a pilot last year for NBC called Love is a 4-Letter Word, and it never got picked up. So you just never know what's going to go and what isn't going to go. But, that's always, pilot season is always the time to, try your new show and see what's going to happen. And hopefully we'll have a big success there.
Definitely.
I don't know if you know this, but I do a lot of voiceover work as well. We just released Halo 5 for all the video game people out there that are also happening to be Nashville fans.
Awesome.
If you love Halo, get your Xbox One.
I love it.
It's a really cool, different game this time. It's the first time that you can play other people, and I am one of the franchise players, so I'm Spartan Tanaka. You can log on, you can play me, you can shoot some people down in my suit of armor.
Nice.
That's so cool, being a video game character. Like, gosh, I can't, what a fun thing to do.
It's really cool. It's like I love doing VO. I love video games in particular. I've also worked on like the Spider-Man games and some other Marvel Avenger games and stuff like that. So yeah, I really love voiceover in general, but I also really like video games in particular because when you get to do the motion capture work as well, which is the fun stuff with the dots on you and you're playing in the big space and you get to really, just play, like literally go back into your, 11-year-old self and have yourself a good old time. And it's just a blast. And I really like the vocal work and the imagination that it, brings back into and calls upon. I really, really appreciate being able to do work that isn't about necessarily being gorgeous or being all made up or having to, be a certain size or anything. There's no pressure. It's all about just the imagination and the play and, that vocal skill set. And it's really, really fun. It goes back to the basics of performance and, my old days in the theater and such. So.
Right.
That's so cool.
Amazing.
What a cool So that also means if they make a movie, you're first on their list to call to play your character from the video game, right?
Well, that would be pretty cool. I don't know. I'll tell you.
You gotta work
I
something
bet they would
out.
trade me in for a minute if there was a cooler, hotter girl, though. I think Rosario Dawson might win over me.
Oh, come on.
That is amazing. No, there's lots of stuff going on. So thank you so much for chatting with us. That was such a great interview.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to all the fans who are watching and just who are giving Gabriella some love. I appreciate it so much.
Of course. Well, thanks so much.
Bye, Cynthia.
Awesome.
That was great. I wish she could have come in studio.
I know.
She's so much fun, and she's actually a fan of Nashville too.
That's the thing. It makes it so fun when you're talking to somebody who also has been watching it the whole time and just think, that'd be like us watching it, and then one day we gotta roll.
We're on it.
You guys, I'm working on it. Nashville.
How
Just
cool
call
would
me.
that be?
I would die.
She does so many awesome things.
I
And
tried
I didn't get
working
to
on
mention
Nashville,
that
honestly.
the first acting job she ever booked was The Lake House, which was with Sandra Bullock. And,
Keanu Reeves, right?
hey, you're doing pretty well. Go, girl. That's what we have to say.
She's from Chicago.
Yeah, she went to school in Chicago. Grew up in
Illinois.
Kansas, so she knows.
Well, maybe when her schedule clears up, if Gabriella kind of stays
away. I don't know. From
in
what
the
she
show.
insinuated, I think Colt's found a way to make his dad really look at his life, which I'm excited about because was that not the best storyline of the show?
It was amazing.
So
and I
good.
love how Colt just is actually tells it straight to his father's and he's old enough to realize what's going on and he's old enough to speak up for himself.
And he's a great actor.
Yeah, and
I'm in shock.
It's such, I feel like, a realistic storyline, and also realistic in the way that this is a side of kind of fame that you don't get to see because they try to keep the stuff behind closed doors. So I think this portrayal of it is super interesting. It's super relatable, not only for people who are famous, but also just there comes a time as a teenager, and I know all of us probably went through it at some point with our parents, where you start to be able to make decisions and start to realize your parents aren't always right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And obviously Maddie's relationship is a little different because she's kind of making more mistakes than I feel like Colt is, but he's calling his dad out, and
it's something it's something that Luke needs to hear, and I think it is. You see him tear up a couple times. Now his son's gone after he's too little too late and trying to make this a valued relationship, and Colt doesn't feel valued. He doesn't feel loved, and now he's leaving to go stay with his grandfather. He'd rather stay with someone who apparently is 10 times more strict than his own dad because at least someone's going to care and
at least he cares. At least he cares.
So I can't wait to see where this one goes because it looks like Luke's kind of going to go in a downward spiral a bit just because he doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at least he knows what's going on. There's an issue there, and he's going to take this time off of work, hopefully, to actually reevaluate his life and get things straight.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm excited to see where this one goes.
Me too.
And
it's a good one.
This episode I thought was really, really great, and it was so strong because that storyline was one of the bigger ones.
It was. They were one of the three's a crowd.
Yes. What's another three's a crowd?
Well, Scarlett Gunner and his new girl, that's for sure.
Well, it's not only three's a crowd, four's a crowd in that relationship because there's two people.
Well, I guess it's two different threes, huh?
Yeah.
The significant others. Caleb, bye.
Yeah,
It's
it's getting old, and it's
Does
never
everyone
gonna work.
agree with us on this by now? At this point, it's just not going anywhere. They can't. Okay, first of all, he can't even talk about his doctor stuff. She can't talk about singing because he doesn't find it like a legitimate
job.
Way. Yeah.
I have a real job. That was how
that's just
judgmental
like a dig
was that?
at the person you're supposed to love. So it's just obviously this is
It just shows the audience just how much they're not alike. And how much they shouldn't be together.
Right.
They're on so completely different. They come from completely different worlds.
Yeah.
So we obviously know what's going to happen there. At least it's about time.
It's a mid-season finale next week. Bye-bye.
But then what's going to happen with Scarlett and Gunner? Because Gunner, he's having some fun now. He's loosening up. He's he's
Singing a
just
good song.
being funny.
Scarlett's
having
not
fun.
amused anymore.
She was sitting there
Interesting.
writing 7 songs, and he kept staring at her like he wasn't, he's
Oh,
being
brooding.
left out or whatever it was, and now he's just having a blast. I don't know.
I think their timing, Scarlett
always
and
off.
Yeah, Scarlett and Gunner's timing is always off by like a few hours.
and I think it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again.
I don't know. I feel like by the end of this season, they'll be back together.
Let's hope.
I feel like that's the one more
the
up and
way
down
of
between
it.
them, but they need to just get them together. They belong together, and we
We'll
need to
see.
we got to get rid of Caleb first, and then we got to get rid of this other girl.
Yeah.
You know what? I think she's really good for Gunner right now.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
hate her
growing
as
on
much
me.
as I've been like hating her recently, but because I think what she's trying to do
She's
for
just
Gunner is
fun.
genuine and fun.
Yeah,
so
I
he
agree.
needs that.
Okay, another three's a crowd.
Who?
Deacon, Raina, and Marcus.
Yes, Marcus! Oh,
I don't even know.
I can't. I just was like I just get out of the shower.
First of all, the song. Let's talk about
the song.
The
His
song.
voice.
Yeah, the shirtless.
Phenomenal.
The shirtless scene, sure, but the song, that was amazing.
I just love his character.
I love his voice.
Yes, I love
was
everything
really
about him.
impressed.
I was
But
like, no,
Deacon
please
sure
sing the
was
whole
not.
song.
Deacon sure was not happy.
Well, I mean, I understand where Deacon's coming from. That's a song that's so close, near and dear to him that no one knew about. So
That he
it was-
wrote about Raina,
It
of
was
course.
very
you can hear.
intimate and close to him. So I get it. After all these years have passed and someone else is now messing with his personal song, I get where Deacon's coming
But
from.
I do think Deacon freaked out a little bit. Like I was telling you guys this during the episode. I think he might have flipped his lid a little too
He's
quickly.
jealous.
He is,
But
and
he
I thought
kept
that
up
was,
to it.
But that was very unprofessional what he did. And I think
He is
Raina
a
was
hothead.
trying.
He's always
yeah.
been a bit of a hothead.
I think Raina handled it as best she could, but I blame that whole little like three's a crowd situation and the thing on Deacon. Like freaking like Marcus was just kind of doing his thing.
I
He
don't
was
know.
like in the mood.
I'm
whatever.
gonna have to say
I know
though,
you
he's
want
doing it on purpose because
You-
we say, oh yeah, he
mess.
definitely he's messing with it because then Raina comes closer to him and he sees, is Raina gonna pick me or is she gonna pick him? And he feels like any little win when she sided with him that he's getting closer. We saw when she came to his door and she's like, Deacon's my guy. You see him shut the door and kind of sigh, like smile a little bit because he's trying to manipulate his way in. And we already saw in the preview next week, he goes in for it. So
or
he's
does
definitely
Raina go in for it?
No.
She's not that
She
girl.
looked like she got a little tipsy.
She might have, but she's
No.
definitely not the one that would have done
But
that.
you know what? I gotta say this. I'm so pissed off about the preview for next week because freaking every time Deacon wants to propose or do something right, they always mess it up, and it makes me so mad. I'm so tired of it. Just
Another
let
If
it
they
happen.
relationship.
didn't do that, it wouldn't be called drama.
Yeah.
I'm just
Come on.
still.
It's
just
true though.
something
Why don't
else.
we let Scarlett and Gunner be the new Deacon and Raina? At least let them be happy.
Gosh, I know. Nobody can be
Really?
That's not
happy.
gonna happen.
They're
for
gonna have
while.
a guy almost come in between them now. Like they've been through a drunk, they've been through deaths, and you know
Car
what I'm
crashes,
sorry. And now it's gonna
yeah.
be a guy who's a rock star.
Pregnancies, yeah.
Give
it's
me a
like
break.
Deacon, have a little bit more just be a little more like not as self-conscious as you are. It's like, dude, like you're
But he's
Deacon
not-
Claiborne. Raina's loved you your whole life. Like,
Right.
get over it.
But
Like
she hasn't always
Marcus-
shown it, so I get his
Oh,
like,
he's so
insecurities.
self-conscious and insecure.
I get
I
it a
hate
bit though.
But,
She's
okay,
always been
so
married to
unattractive.
somebody else.
In honesty, love Deacon and Raina, but you got to think of it like this: if Deacon lost Raina, what else does he have?
Maddie, Daphne.
But
His bar.
If Raina lost Deacon, what else does she have? She has
She
a
has
business.
enough, but that's not-
She
she
has
doesn't
a
want anything
career.
else.
She has connections. Like Raina, no offense, has way more things
not
going.
even
on.
I disagree with you.
Okay, I'm not even worried about this relationship ending. It's not going to end. This is
Yeah,
just a
I'm
little
just like-
drama that they've got to
I
mix
get
in there.
Deacon's
We know.
just insecure and needs to get over himself.
Yes, he
There's
needs
all
to get
these
over it.
moments where Raina has proved her loyalty and solidarity in that relationship, and he's still questioning it after all these years.
Boys will be boys. Let's leave it at that
Very
because I
true.
can't wait to see what happens next week
Yes.
between them.
Who-
Speaking of Maddie and Daphne,
Yes.
bless.
Bless.
Little Daphne, I like
Oh,
literal.
Daphne.
I cannot. I thought I was literally gonna yell at the TV because
wanted
that
to
was
slap
so
Maddie.
messed up. Like, those are such harsh things to say to someone who's a 12-year-old girl who is so susceptible to being molded into someone, and that just makes her feel bad about herself. It's
I
so
know,
sad.
but you guys, come on. Like, you have a younger sister.
Yeah.
I have a younger sister. Do you have a younger sister?
No, I'm the youngest. So I felt for Daphne.
Yeah,
I was like, I know
felt for
that
Daphne
cruelty.
too. But
Yeah.
like those things happen as you're growing up and aging and figuring out what your relationship is like. Like, yes, it's not nice, but like at least again, like I enjoyed that storyline just because it was so real. And like they're not shying away and trying to make it more dramatic than it really needs to be.
It just makes me hate
an
Maddie
honest-
so much.
No,
Right.
but like,
She's
but
such a little brat.
you've
No,
been
and-
that brat before to your
I've
younger
been the
sister.
one that's like, don't come hang out with my friends, but never to the point where it's like, you look bad, and you like, I was never that girl. My gosh.
I was like,
I
it was
just
straight up
No, it was to the
mean.
point where Maddie was being mean to be mean.
because she's in such a bad.
Because she's
like,
not
yeah.
getting what she wants.
And she
out of
always
this.
realizes after the fact. I mean, everyone, it's family. You get it. Like, you go through it. But it's like, that poor girl. Daphne has been through it and
I
through
know,
it. Like,
poor
she,
Daphne.
she don't even, her dad's in prison right now, you guys. Like, a little bit, Maddie needs to have a heart because think about it and be that good role model that you are.
When we
deep
saw her
down.
step up and like do exactly what she should have done in the first place is, hey, here's some clothes, let's pick out our outfit together, like you don't need to be looking like that, like you're, you know, like and explaining to her where she's coming from. She's not trying to make excuses for what she's doing. She just kind of explained to her, hey, it's hard now because we're just two very different ages, and like when you're a teenager you'll get it too, but I'm going
Right.
through completely
But
different
I'm
things,
also
which is
like,
so real.
where the heck's their mother? Like, I get that she's out producing some albums,
She's
but
with
come
Marcus.
on. You need to be there when your daughters are going through these kinds of things to help a little bit mediate
Well,
this.
don't freaking sign them, and then like don't like freaking like work with them on the thing. I don't know. It just
Soon enough. They
she
got to
does
get
seem a little
Marcus's
MIA.
album out because obviously he's the one that's going to make some money right now. Now, is
I
it
want
actually
Maddie-
going to get out? That's the question.
I hope it does, and I want Maddie to do a track with him. I think, or
We'll
Maddie
see.
and Daphne to do a track with him. Something to help launch those girls too. And Marcus loves them.
Ooh, we didn't talk about Wade Cole yet.
Oh God.
Sorry, we got to
Oh,
move off
goodness.
from.
Yeah, goodness. So much.
There's a lot in this episode.
It was
but
so good.
Yeah, Avery, bless him, he is just hustling. He's starting from the ground. He's starting from ground zero again
It's
here.
humbling. I will give it to
But he's
Avery.
always been a hard worker.
And his mentality and perspective on this, like I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to protect and help provide for Keetin.
And not take
That's
yeah,
a very
handout.
respectable, position to be in. It was like, you know what? You do what you do.
But this is the thing. Don't be so proud as to potentially hurt like your daughter. I know he's not hurting his daughter, but come on. You do deserve, like, Juliette's her mom. You deserve some type of like child support from her, so it's not all on your
Alimony.
shoulders because you're literally the only
It'll
one
get
taking care of
there.
this girl.
It'll get
So
there.
like drop the pride act and take the money so you can actually really be working, so you can get to a level in your career that you can fully support her on your own. And if you have to take some child supports from Juliette, drop the pride at the door, Avery.
I don't
I'm sorry.
know. I don't think it's that at this point. He's newly separated from the love of his life. I don't think it's probably him holding on to wondering if they're ever going to reconcile it. It's not always like pride. And then he's got Emily, who's Juliette's calling, and she's not telling him. That's going to blow up.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
bad.
I just feel like, bless his heart, he's doing what he's got to do, and he'll figure it out because he's not going to let his daughter suffer from it. But, he's
But
always
I don't
been a
think
hard
he's
worker.
doing what he has
He's
to
got
do.
to build a career
He's doing jingles.
without Juliet.
He's doing some way to make money.
Yeah, sure, but he can still do all that stuff and like to help his career and to make money on his own to kind of fill that void of wanting to work. Because I understand the need and feeling of you want to work. Like I'm a worker too. Like I just want to work sometimes. But what bothers me is when like you're like literally scraping the bottom, like trying to make sure you can hang on to pay rent, to pay groceries, whatever. When it's like Juliette is Cadence's mom. Like, you deserve some money from that because she's completely MIA and you're basically taking care of her child.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about the situation. Drop the pride.
Alimony.
Easy, but it's different for a guy, I'm sure, and he wants to be, it's like that's his whole relationship with Juliette. Oh, you're married to Juliette, this money maker. Like, at some point he probably wants to separate
I was
himself
like,
from
you
that
also
in
have
general.
to remember Avery, he's a talented musician and whatnot. He was at the start of having a successful relationship with the three exes and whatnot.
Career, yeah.
They had a potential good
So
career.
sad.
But then his producing you only got his producing because of Juliette. So, like, I understand Avery's grind to build a professional career without Juliette ties.
I do too.
But, like, how is he going to do that if he's still not being honest with the fact that he's not tied with her? Like, and that's the other thing that's frustrating. It's just like, dude, if you're going to, and I get it. It's going to take time.
Fresh.
It's fresh.
I think it's
but
fresh.
Like, if you're gonna be as stubborn as he's being and like cut ties fully with her, be a little bit more honest about it so like people know what you're going through, buddy. Like,
And that's another way that he's protecting Juliette. It's actually kind of a nice thing. I
they
don't
get
know.
some money from her. God!
She's in rehab. Like, he's not letting that out yet. He's
But
always
also-
been an upstanding guy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, at some point, I'm sure it'll all work out in his favor because he's the one that deserves it. And if it doesn't, then, man, what's the point of working hard in general?
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
Hello!
Lord.
at the end of the day, Avery still loves Juliette, and that's what's holding him
Yeah,
back.
of course. You want to kind of salvage
Yeah.
it. Well, on the other note, we got to talk about Will Lexington working with Wade Cole. What the heck is happening?
There are people like that in the world, which kind of blows my mind.
Well,
still.
what blows my mind is that he chose to then work with him after he obviously has these
what
this
we
moral
want and
issue.
what we need is different.
Strong values.
It's and unlike Avery, he's still struggling with everything, and he's still trying to find his place and how he's going to react to the situation, how he's going to stand up and be who he is. He's trying to figure that out.
This is the thing though. Freaking Will, why don't you work with him? Work with him, and like even if he tries to keep your mouth shut, that's still your song. You can talk about it in the media and everything and be honest about it. Like, why not? Like,
Because he is just so not that guy yet.
just
And I
saying he
hope
is.
he becomes that, and maybe that's why he is going to work with him, and maybe
Yeah.
that's what we'll see. But he better watch real carefully. If his name is not listed by that as a songwriter, he's got to read that contract, because I feel like this guy...
Could easily...
he wants to
him
hide it. He
over.
wants him to sign like a non-disclosure agreement. No.
Yeah, we'll
NDAs.
see.
Yeah, just don't do it. But you can still get paid for your work right now until if it comes to that, then Will can be like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Right.
I hope he
And-
plays it a little bit, and that may be what he's doing.
Right. I also understand that Will just wants to work and get a name out there and start building his writing career. Very understandable. But sometimes in the industry, you do have to work with people you cannot stand.
Always. In any
And I
industry.
think it's just one of those situations.
In life in general.
If it helps get him his foot into the door and he's working with some
Do it.
a-hole,
And
do
I
it.
think it's more about actually he's attaching his name to this big star and showing that he can work with somebody. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
Even though
what
they
happens.
don't have the same beliefs.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know?
see.
It's-
It makes Wade Cole look good though too. That's the problem.
Gotta work
Or
with
No,
maybe
it
people
it's
doesn't
you
make
making
Wade
bad,
Cole.
yeah.
No, it's making Wade, because Wade Cole is most worried about his fans, his wife,
His image.
his political image. So no, in the end, this is nothing about this can hurt Will. This is only going to hurt Wade Cole, depending on how Wade Cole deals with the situation.
And depending
So I
on
think
how
Luke
Will
needs-
Lexington
Handles
takes it,
it.
because it can hurt him if he doesn't choose to.
Yeah.
That's the issue. He's a very sensitive dude right now.
He just got, well.
We can't be these people. So let's move on. I think we covered it.
I think we did everything.
It's a lot of
It's
three's
So
a
much.
crowd up in
Yeah.
there. Oh,
The songs were
goodness.
amazing.
They were really good songs.
So
this week.
good.
Yes. So, you going to go straight to predictions?
Let's get
Yes.
to this.
Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I gotta say my first one. I think Wade Cole is actually gay.
I knew you were going to.
So I think that's gonna be an interesting thing if that's the case. Who knows? Maybe not, but that's what I saw. The other one was, what was it? It was so good. I forgot. Somebody go.
While you're thinking, I think Gunnar and Scarlett are gonna write another song together. That might rekindle things up. Gunnar realizes this girl that he's with, as fun as she is, whatever, and is loosening him up. Cut those ties.
Wait, question. Girls, who do you think his song was about?
It was
The girl
about,
across from him or Scarlett?
I thought it was about the girl across from him and himself.
Yeah.
Just like letting go, whatever
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Having
At first I was
fun.
like,
Touching statues' boobs.
No, but the song,
Golly.
it had a completely different vibe to what Gunnar, we're
liked
used
it.
to seeing
It was
Gunnar
like,
sing.
it sounded like KT Tunstall. It was very rhythmic.
bit, yeah.
It was like, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
oh, I remember my other one. I predict that Marcus's album will not get released and she will lose all that money, and then she's going to have to invest in her daughters to try to find a way to get some money back in Highway 65, or it's going to fold and her daughters are left without a label in general, and so is she.
I got one. That's
We
a
gotta
good
have
one.
the drama,
That's
people.
a good one. I think Luke, to try to get Colt back, is going to try to use Maddie. And I think that's going to get him and Rayna obviously interacting, him and Deacon obviously interacting. Gonna cause some tension
drama
there once Marcus kind of leaves the picture a little bit. And yeah, I think he's gonna try to be the cool dad. The one that's like, oh, let me let you see your girlfriend,
again,
which is not
still not
not the right thing to do.
Oh,
but
bless him.
I have an idea. I think because we see in the previews that Marcus makes a move on Rayna, I think Rayna's gonna fire Marcus, lose all that money on him, not release the album, invest all the money back into her daughters, and then that will happen. That causes chaos.
Golly.
She's gonna lose money because she's gonna fire Marcus.
I don't even know, you
Can
guys.
she sign Will Lexington already? Like, I'm just waiting for
about
them. Like, Will could do the same, whatever album that Marcus is trying to do, and Rayna could make it amazing. So I don't know.
That's what we got. We did
episode.
have one little piece of news and gossip real quick. Sorry.
AfterBuzz
And this was tweeted to us actually, and I read a little bit about it, but the cast of Nashville was actually honored at the CMT Artist of the Year event that they had, and that was actually, I believe, when was it? Today. So they were honored tonight in Nashville. So that's pretty cool. They picked different people and they got to be a part of it. So
That's
I
awesome.
mean, this show it definitely spans the people here, the fans.
That's awesome.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us again for another episode of Nashville. Like I said, I won't be here next week, but I'm going to obviously be watching. So tweet me. I'm at Southern_Wit, and you can follow my blog, chasingcountry.com.
You guys can find me. I will be here next week. Hopefully.
Yay.
I will. You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Keetin Marchi.
And you can follow me at Serafini TV on Twitter.
All right. See you for the last episode.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz y'all later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.